Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Miss Luna Speaks. This episode is going to be called Dancing While Black because, you know, so boom. I moved here to Kansas City in like 2014, like top of 2014, yeah, 2014, 2015, in that area. So I had just had to leave college and because of a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, shoot, I can't go back home. I can't go back to St. Louis. I can't move back in with my parents. That's not an option. So I'm just like, I had a friend that I made in college, shout out Ngazi, and his family, and they let me, his mom actually let me stay with him in Kansas City so I could like get on my feet and get my shit together, or as much as I could get together. And so, funny thing about not having much of a work history, I didn't really work when I was in high school. I didn't have any summer jobs or anything. And funny thing, no one gives a fuck about your volunteer hours at Girl Scout camp on a job application for some reason. But so I had only worked for a little bit in Maryville. I had done some fast food at McDonald's. I had done some like campus dining, but again, it doesn't really amount to much. So, back, and I was like, well, I'll go back to what I was doing before when I was in this situation since it worked out so well. Now, I had done no research on different regions and how the different regions would affect, how much money you make versus like the dynamics. And of course, I wasn't really thinking about how race would play in all the clubs and whatnot, depending on the region you were in. Because I had thought about it, but I didn't think about it, So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll dance since, like, again, like I'm putting in job applications and no one's hiring me, and I'm like, boo-hoo. So I'm just like, shit, fuck it. I'm just gonna go dance. And so I did. And so first club I worked at in Kansas City was called Chrome. It is like Skin now. It's changed its name like a million times. And again, thought it was fine. Everything was cool. I took the bus to get there. Because again, I still don't know how to drive at this point. I didn't have a permit. Nobody taught me how to drive growing up. That's a whole other thing. But I wouldn't get my license until I was 21. So again, mind you, I am like 19 and like 19, 20, and I'm like, shoot, yeah, I'm like 20, yeah, 19, 20. And so I'm just like, well, I gotta get there. And so I had never taken a public bus. And so I'm just like having to figure out the bus system. It's cold, it's in the middle of January, but I figured it out. We got there. And so I'm just like, shit, man, y'all gonna hire me or not? And I remember it was all going well. I started doing the day shift, and again, everything's cool. I could put in requests and dance to the music I wanted to listen to. What was popping back then? Drunken Love had came out. Well, no, that was a while ago. I was still in high school when that came out. Anyways. Because a thing about DJs for some reason, especially like in the club scene, when they're a bit older, they tend to be a bit about 3 years late on the music that they choose. So it was nice to be able to actually put in music that you wanted to hear to a certain extent. And so again, I was going by Luna. I was learning pole tricks from one of the older girls that was there. Shout out Chanel. And it was really good. And then I remember I had this one guy, he brought his dad in, and everything was going good. We were talking to TTT, and, his dad turns to me, and and he goes, I really like you. I had one of you growing up. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, And he's like talking, and then again, this man has an oxygen tank, so he's obviously old as fuck. And he's talking to me, he's like, no, no, growing up, you know, there was always a gal like you around, and I've just always liked your kind, and I had one of you growing up, and it was just really nice to have around. And I'm like, sir. I'm like, sir, let's snap back. Let's snap back. This is the 1940s where I'm not your housemaid. And I'm using maid to be kind and generous because he's probably fucking dead now. But, you know, these are the things. These are the things. And I'm just like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Everything's fine. Brush it off. It's fine. And fast forward to when the Royals won. They went to the World Series the first time, but they lost. And, you know, everybody's coming to town for the World Series. And everybody's like spending money. Everybody's like, everybody's like getting paid and shit. Everybody's happy. I meet these two guys, and they're like, oh my gosh. And I was in between hairstyles, so I had taken my braids down, and I was doing my natural hair, which I was known to do, because the fuck you mean? And so I had my natural hair out, and these like guys loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, like, you're so beautiful. We've never seen like girls here wear their hair out and it just works for you. Like, oh my gosh, like, money, 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 money. And so I'm like, great. And so everything went well, night went well. He's like, and the guys are like, oh, are you gonna be here tomorrow? Because again, it's a series, World Series baseball. And so I was like, yeah, duh. And so I come, and so everything's fine, all's well that ends well. And then I come to work the next day, and I get ready, I'm chit-chatting, talking. And the owner comes out, Johnny, and he's like, oh, Luna, come here. And now, mind you, I'm already dressed, and I've already gotten ready. I've been there for like about 45 minutes already, like, you know, primping, freshening makeup, doing all that stuff. And he waits till I'm done, about to walk onto the floor. He's like, and I go into the office, and he's like, you're gonna have to leave. And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, well, your hair hasn't been done the past couple days. And I said, what do you mean? 'Cause the fuck? And he's like, well, I don't mean it like that, but I just mean like until you get a wig or something, and then it's just not the look I want for my club. So you're gonna need to go home. And I'm like, but you just watched me make money all yesterday with my natural hair. So it's like, it's styled, it's cute, like you had seen it. And I'm gonna insert a picture of, you know, of what it looks like. So I think I have some from way back then. But still, that's besides the point. But again, I'm like, and again, I have been working there for a few months then. Everything's fine. And so for him to be, he's like, well, other girls are starting to do it, and it's just not the look I want for my club. And he really sent me home. And so, of course, now mind you, I'm still not driving. So I had to take, this is back before Lyft and shit was a thing. So I had to fucking take a taxi. A taxi! So I'm waiting here for the taxi to show up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm really sad. Because I'm just like, first of all, I had just made a whole bunch of money yesterday. And honestly, if you want to send me home, that's fine. But why the fuck would you wait until I'm already done getting ready? Like, you just did it to be an asshole. Like, you didn't want to be a dick. Because you could have told me this when I walked in the door. And I would have been like, ooh, alright. But no. And it's like, and luckily I hadn't paid. It wasn't one of those nights where you had to pay a tip out up front. So I didn't come out of too much money, but I still had to get money to get there. You know what I mean? So again, money is still lost. And so as I'm waiting for the taxi, of course the two guys who came in from the night before, they're like, oh my God, you're here. Da 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 da. Like, ooh, we about to kick it. And I'm like, ooh, we're not about to kick it because I'm being sent home. And they're like, oh my God, like, why? Like, oh my God, like, what happened? And I was told them what happened. I was like, yeah, like the owner is sending me home because he doesn't like my hair out. And these white men are like flabbergasted. They're like, oh my God, like, can we talk to him? Can we speak to him? Like, what can we do? I was just like, I don't know at this point. Like, you could give me some money so I could like go home. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, of course, whoa, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But they go in and they, you know, slap me like a 50. And I'm like, fine. And of course I still have to go home because again, taxi comes and I'm like, bruh. And the bad thing about it was, I was getting my hair done in the twist the next day. So again, he had watched me make money all week with my natural hair. Style different ways, all, you know, I have my fro, then I do a little twist style, then whatever the case may have you. But it was cute. And I was making money. And I'm like, okay. And so I did my hair, got my hair done the next day. I went in, I worked and made money, and I never went back. Because fuck it. But what I didn't know was, in Kansas City, and in the dance world in particular, it's very segregated. So you will have your typical white clubs, you'll have your black clubs, the Latino clubs, and then like the ones that are kind of okay, a good mix for everybody. You know what I mean? And so I didn't know that dynamic. I just thought a club's a club's a club. A girl's a girl's a girl. Who gives a fuck? You know, everybody's shaking ass. That whoever the guys will go to whoever they like, and I had assumed that they would want an option of everybody, so they could choose from everybody. No. So after I had left there, I tried to go to Bazookas, and again, I didn't know the dynamics of Bazookas at the time. And those of y'all who know the dynamics of Bazookas. They have like what, 3 black girl max minimum or maximum, and most of everybody works there is like, you know, the titties and bored thin, and also because it's downtown. The club that's kind of near there but around the corner, what is it, Temptations, a fucking juice bar, wouldn't hire me either. And again, those of y'all who know. And then Shady Lady, a Latino club, but only a light-skinned Latina club with the occasional light brown girl. Occasional. And they'll throw a darkie in there every once in a while. But again, you know, and then especially, so I'm just like, fuck, you know, what's going on? Because again, like, it would be different. You can't tell me that, oh my gosh, like, we have too many girls, because y'all are always complaining about girls not coming to work. So what's really it? And again, at first I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm just assuming, but as I danced longer in the city, no, I was right. And so I ended up at Legs, and I was there for like about a year and a half. And there was a time when I got there when it was a good group of girls. Like, we were all cool, we were all friends. Like, we would go out to IHOP and Denny's together after the night was over, and whoever was serving us would just get paid that night. And all the dynamics of the club was good, nobody was fighting, everybody was making money. And, you know, the owner, you know, said something to me one day. He's just like, you know, Luna, I'm just really glad you're one of the good ones. You know, you're not like the other ones. And I'm like, oh fuck, because I've heard this my whole life, which is so fucking annoying. You know, like, what is one of the good ones? It's just like, am I not turtle enough to be in the turtle club? Like, am I not black enough? Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? I know what it means, but still, it's just like, they expect it to be, for me to take it as a compliment. Like, oh, you're not ghetto. You're not like the other, like, you don't know me. Like, you know, and even if I was, like, what do you, it's that type of shit, you know? And I'm just like, all right. And so it's just like, I put the puzzles together. So I'm just like, okay. So when I do get hired at these predominantly white clubs, it's going to be because of the way I present, the way I speak, or I'm dark skinned, but I'm a safe one of the good ones. But again, like, fuck that. Because again, like, just because they hire you for that, they'll turn around and fire you for that same reason. Like, I got fired from that place because they had us, bruh. Everybody who knew me knew that I get to my money. I'm not one of those, ain't nobody doing nothing. I do my job, I go home. You know what I mean? And so at the time, there are 3 rooms. There are 3 rooms in the club, right? At Legs. And I don't know if it's still like that because it's changed its name to Pure now. So, whatever. So this is like 2016 or whatever. 2015, 2016. And so we're all, at the time, like, there starts to be a little bit of a shift. Because as more people start to come, and, like, I'm still a high earner, and other, like, certain people weren't getting shows. And it started to be a bit of a problem. And also, I'm not a boom boom room girl. I'm sorry, I'm not. And so it got to the point where they didn't have no black girls to suggest for the boom boom room. Or the same one that they were using is only going with one particular person. Is she not like a rent girl? You know what I mean? And so that begins to be a problem. And so most of us have been used to making our money without having to, you know, do anything extra. No sucking dick in the bathroom, no, like, all that fucking shit. So you can, again, you got the regular VIP where you get bottle service. Then in that VIP, there's 2 other rooms. There's like a private room with a door that's a little bit bigger for like your, you know, coke parties or whatever the fuck. Allegedly. No, I'm kidding. That's what happened. No, and so there's that room for, like, you know, and that room was expensive. And then they've got like a super small room, like a super private, like, that's the boom boom room. And so, mind you, they're already ripping us off because they had these, that we had to sell these bottles. So it's for VIP, let me remember. So dances at least were 20, right? When you go into VIP, you have to buy a bottle. Now they were charging these people, you know, a bottle of Moet, a regular bottle of Moet is like $40 to $60. Like, it's not $100. They're charging these dudes for the bottle like at least $200 just to go back there. So, because you have to buy a bottle. And they would tell us, ooh, you sell the bottles and you could, you'll get like a percentage. Okay. And so, now mind you, these men are spending all this money to just get back there. And this is just the regular VIP. And then by the time they do all that, they have to spend money for dances. Because these men think the dances are included. They're not. All that aside. So they're already scamming on the bottles. They're already scamming us out of our cut of what we sell. And then they start to hire these girls who are very young and very experienced and in a bad way. Like, track marks, like, these girls don't know here from there. And the ones that do know here from there are just real dingy, real dissy. And so, okay, that's fine. Do what you do, whatever, who gives a fuck. And so there's this one girl that they hired who was allegedly sucking dick in the bathroom. And mind you, this is a super busy night. So me and all my friends are making money. Everybody sees me. The club is this big, okay? The club is this big. Stage is in the middle. And so I'm just like, everybody sees, like, you can see everybody. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the night, the manager comes up to me. She's like, so you're gonna have to leave. And I was like, okay. And she was like, and mind you, everybody's drinking and shit. And she's like, well, we have it on good knowledge that she was sucking dick in the bathroom, and we don't allow that type of behavior here. And everybody in the dressing room went up because again, like you can see me. Everybody can see me. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, that wasn't Luna. Like Luna was here doing dances. Luna was here in the middle of the stage doing dances. Luna was here. I did a dance with Luna. Like we had seen each other all night. And so I'm getting live because one thing you're not gonna do, because that takes me back to my childhood. One thing you're not gonna do is say I did something that I didn't do, and then proceed to punish me for that thing that I didn't do, like I did it. And so for these people, like the girls who dance with me know that I don't be going up for shit. Like I don't be going up for nothing. Like I'm not gonna fight nobody. I mind my business because at the end of the day, it's just a job. I don't care. But yo, again, what you're not gonna do is punish me for something that I did not do, that everybody is telling you that I did not do because they saw me not do it. You know what I mean? Now, the girl that they were talking about, the funny thing about it is the girl they were talking about was already ushered out of the building. I had seen her leave the bathroom, and then when I was getting dressed and whatnot, like, or changing clothes, or I was, changing outfits and whatnot, I had seen them, the owner and the manager girl, walk her out through the downstairs, because there's a little back door downstairs, and they had walked her out through the back. So I had seen the culprit. I had seen who they were talking about. So again, on top of that, you're saying that it was me when I know and you know that you already punished the girl who did it. So why are you trying to say that I did it when you know who did it? And so I'm like, girl, you're drunk. You're drunk. Like, because obviously you're fucking crazy. And everybody around here is telling you that that was not me. But yet, the way I had to be picked up and removed, because I was really finna fight her. And again, I don't be going up. But I was really finna fight her. Because how dare you? Oh, I couldn't stand that shit. Yeah. And it's just like, little shit like that, it's like they'll fire you because you're doing well. And then when you go to other places, like other states and shit, there's still the dynamic of light-skinned girls are always going to get the priority of hiring. Because just like, as a dark-skinned girl, it's just like, ooh, like, even though you're pretty, we can't have too many because we don't want to be seen as one of those clubs. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, if you go on any given clubs, like if you go to Ace of Diamonds Instagram page, all light-skinned bitches. You click on fucking any club in New York, all light-skinned girls. You click on when V Live was popping, you go to V Live, all light-skinned girls. Which again, where does that put you? But it's just something I had to learn to navigate, which is fine. But it's just like, why? But again, I just learned that after dancing for as long as I have, that there are ways to that there's certain things that's just going to be, and the best thing that you can do, that I could do, was just to still just find my identity and just be myself. And this is why I always say that the strip club is where I kind of find myself as a person, because I can't pretend to be, like, I can't change my skin. Like, I'm not bleaching shit, so I'm never going to be a light-skinned bitch. So I can't, like, even if I got my body done, like, even if I went the whole, like, did everything, like, for what? I'm still gonna be a black ass bitch. So then what? So the best thing that I can do, the money that's meant for me is gonna come to me. And that's what it did. And there you go. But no, thank you for watching. Bye.